What up, personages of awesomeness? This is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and I'm bringing you this awesome deck review of the Steampunk Tarot. So this is the Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore, and it is illustrated by Ali Fell. Okay, so it does come in this rather large box, and I've said before that I'm not a huge fan of the big boxes. I know they come with, big books, and the decks are kept safe in their own little boxes in there. It's just, I don't know, I just don't like having this huge thing around. I like just, having the little decks all stacked up. So, okay, so these are the sides, and this is the top. Here we have the bottom, and this is the back. So where the past and the future converge. With a turn of the wheel and a spin of the cog, oracular machinery lumbers into action. The curtains slowly draw back. The time has come to reveal your destiny. Created by expert tarot reader Barbara Moore and brilliantly brought to life by artist Ali Fell, the Steampunk Tarot offers a glimpse of the future through a lens to the past. Retooling the gears of the Rider-Waite tradition, each card's intricate artwork depicts a scintillating fusion of man and machine, nature and technology, science and alchemy, romance and fashion. The included manual offers tips, original spreads, and guidance in card interpretation. Okay, so before we get into this, and while I get the book and the cards out of here, I just want to say that I'm not into the whole steampunk culture. I wouldn't consider myself steampunk, and actually I don't, it's not something that I follow, but these cards just really, the artwork drew me in, and the readings that I get from them are so powerful. And so I don't think you have to be a steampunk person per se to be able to understand these cards and to be able to work with them and get some fantastic readings out of them. So don't feel like, you have to be this type of person. Just like, with any of the gothic decks or, vampire decks, you don't have to be a gothic person, to work with them, with certain animal decks, with dogs or cats, you don't have to be a dog or cat person, to work with it. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there, that I didn't, seek this deck out because I'm into steampunk. I actually just saw it at my local metaphysical store in Hillcrest, and kind of caught my eye. The images on the box caught my eye, and I was like, I don't know, that could be something I could work with. And I don't know why, but I just bought it, and I couldn't be happier. Okay, so this is a very shiny book, and it's a very thick book. I mean, take a look at that. And that is the back of the book. So definitely, sorry, got an itch. Some money and everything went into this. It is black and white when you open it up. You got Barbara Moore there, Ali Fell. Okay, so it tells you a little bit about steampunk, which you may want to have a little look into the tradition and history of all of that, especially if you're not quite knowledgeable in steampunk. And then kind of how that connects to the tarot cards, the basics of the tarot, just kind of like through their point of view, how to use it, the anatomy of the reading, kind of your basic stuff there. Techniques, questions that you can ask. There's a lot here. So I think that this book would be really good for those maybe just beginning in tarot, if you consider yourself a beginner. But also it's really good for those people who want an understanding of what's going on in the cards, because maybe you're not somebody who comes from the land of steampunk like myself. And so you can get, some understanding on the symbolism and what's going on in there. Okay, so here, like for the magician, magic is always there, learn to feel it. The core meaning, using knowledge, resources, and will to create change in the world. Gives you a little bit of background of the magician, the black and white version of the card. And reading tip, older traditions speak of the negative aspect of the magician as the con man. If cards such as the devil, the five of swords, the seven of swords, or the moon are present, keep an eye out for trickery or deception. Okay, so all the other cards read in pretty much the same manner. And then it gets into your court cards. Your kings, and then some spreads, some basic spreads, and some spreads that are kind of OG to these people, original. And then a final farewell. Okay, so let me put this book away and let's go ahead and get to our cards. Did I say who the publisher is? Oh, here we go. So this is a Llewellyn Worldwide Publishing Company. Okay, so those of you that are into your Llewellyn deck, sorry, then this is one of those. Okay. So just a regular little tough box that I put my cards in so they won't like, you know, thrash around in here and get all jacked up. Okay, so let's actually take a look at the backs first. So these backings, as you can already tell, they are not reversible, but it has all of, you know, the symbols, the cups, the wands, the pentacles, the swords, and then all of the gears and things like that that are reminiscent of steampunk. So there you go. They are regular size tarot cards, not too big, not too small, just, you know, your basic size. And many people I know own lots of Llewellyn type decks, so you already probably know about the cardstock. You know, probably like a 330 weight or maybe a 300 weight. Not too bendy, not too stiff. Somewhere in between protective gloss and matte finish, just so that there's not any chipping or any of that. Okay, so let's take a look at our cards. And I know that some people edge these decks in black because of the very thin black borders that surround here. But the borders don't seem to distract from the images because they are black and a lot of the images are very dark. So it's kind of like they just blend in, and then down here in white it would have the names. Okay, so let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of these. I don't know, some of the images, it just looks like they could, like they're frozen and then they could just start moving. They just seem so real almost. And not really a realism. I don't really know how to say it. It's not like the Illuminati where it's very computerized looking and almost like there are real photographs in there. This is just, I think, the way that it's created and the movement of the characters, it just seems like they could move. They could come to life. And so, like I said, even though I'm not a steampunk person and, you know, I wouldn't understand the outfit and all of this, I do understand expressions. I do understand feelings and, you know, and certain symbolisms and things like this. So you can get a lot out of the cards not being a steampunk person. And this is actually one of my closer to one of my first decks. Not my first deck, but closer to when I was just starting my tarot journey, and I worked a lot with it and it has helped me along the way, and I absolutely have a special place in my heart for this deck. I don't want to see anything bad happen to it. I don't know about you guys, but I see my decks as kind of like friends, and so I have a lot of friends and all my friends have different personalities, and I want them to know that I will care for them and take as good a care of them as I can so that they can continue to give me some healing readings for myself and others. This one is actually my favorite card, the Queen of Wands. Just look at her sitting up there on her horse. And I would totally wear that outfit, by the way. P.S. And I have seen in other deck reviews where there are people who have decks that are so outside their artistic tastes, so outside of their comfort zone or what they normally like or what they're normally into. Like people who aren't, you know, super into the vampire genre will have a vampire deck and yet it's their favorite deck. Well, this is kind of like one of those decks. You know, I'm not a steampunk person, but, you know, I really get into this deck and I love what these characters have to say. I love what these cards have to say. The artwork is beautiful. The coloring is beautiful. Sorry, gotta make sure my camera stays focused so you guys can see these beautiful cards. There we go. Sorry, just kind of quickly flipping through these. I know people just kind of want to see the cards, make their judgments based off of what they see, if they feel like they're resonating, connecting, and if they too would like to work with the Steampunk Tarot. Okay, so here we have the Four of Cups, the Emperor, and that is it. All right, so there you have it. That is the Steampunk Tarot. Go ahead and give it a nice side shuffle for you. And so if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Please click subscribe. And if you would like to grab a reading with me, then don't forget to check out that information in the box below from my website and my Etsy page. All right, so here's wishing you a fantastical day and peace, love, and chicken grace. Peace out.